Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Glad you could be here. Now, just in case you're wondering, yes, my bookcase is pretty well put together and it looks normal. You're probably wondering, why all the boxes in the thumbnail. To be honest with you, yeah, my bookcase is all put together, but not all the rest of the house is put together yet. I am still moving boxes around and unpacking stuff. And if you'll look at this picture right here, and then look at this picture right here, you will see that I am still very much in the middle of unpacking and surrounded by boxes everywhere. So please pardon my dust while I continue to get things somewhat ready to live in my place. But I promised videos, and I am going to give you videos. Today I'm going to be continuing the discussion on fantasy adaptations, and today I've got two adaptations that are coming, and at the end I want to talk about one adaptation that has already arrived. And so let's get right to it. The first one I want to talk about is the Sandman TV series. Now, we know very little about the Sandman TV series. What we do know is that it has been picked up by Netflix. At one point, it was set to be a movie, and supposedly maybe going to be picked up by New Line Cinema and being produced by Warner Brothers and everything like that. It has since ended that arrangement and is now going to be a TV series, which I think is a much better way to do it, honestly. The Sandman comics are begging for feature-length TV episodes, TV series, multiple TV series at that. So I'm very excited. Neil Gaiman has talked a lot about it and just given us little hints, though. He's just let us know it's coming. Here's kind of what's happening, but not a whole lot is known about it. Now, if you're not familiar with Sandman, oh my goodness, I don't know where to start, honestly. To give you an idea of how incredible this series is. Sandman follows one of the many Endless, known as Dream. In more popular culture, he is known as the Sandman. He speaks into people's dreams and helps them to live out experiences in their dreams. And so yes, he's known as the Sandman, and his name is also Morpheus. Many people just call him Dream. His sister is Death, another one of the Endless. And they're kind of demigods, if you will, that control the in-between places of life. It was created by Neil Gaiman, as I've mentioned before, and it's just brilliant. It's actually one of the few comic book series, graphic novel series that has hit the New York Times bestseller list, because it is just that good and that great of a story. It's published under Vertigo Comics, which was an offshoot of DC, and you do see a lot of DC characters pop up in the series. You see John Constantine pop up. The Justice League comes up a few times, but more specifically Batman is seen, and there's other characters that will pop up from time to time, but you definitely know that it belongs to DC in a very real sense. It's their baby. But oh my goodness, there is nothing that is more clear than the fact that it is Neil Gaiman's genius at work in this series. So to have this adapted into a live action format has been the dream of fans for years, but at the same time it's also been something that has made fans hesitant because they don't want it to be ruined. But Neil Gaiman is executive producing, so I don't think we have much to worry about on that front. He's really, really good at what he does. And so I have high hopes for Sandman. And the fact that it's going to Netflix, I think, is just fantastic. I can't wait to see what happens with it. And I hope you can't wait either. If you have not read Sandman, I highly recommend that you pick it up. It is well worth your time. If you're not much into comic books, don't worry. I'm not a huge comic book reader, but I found this very easy to pick up, and I was just glued to it the entire time. So read it, enjoy it, and get ready for the series because it's coming. We're getting more and more information all the time, so stay tuned. The next series I want to talk about is the Dark Tower series by Stephen King. This was adapted into a movie. Came out in 2017, I believe it was. The movie really flopped. And it's sad because Idris Elba was attached to the movie, and he is a really, really great actor. And I thought he was a really good fit for the main character of Roland Deschain. And I'll tell you a little bit about the story here in a minute to kind of give you an idea. But I was really sad that it flopped as bad as it did. But from what I understood, it was warranted because it was a far cry from anything that Stephen King had remotely imagined his series to be, let alone an entertaining movie. and maybe there's those of you that saw it and liked it okay. Great. If you liked it, more power to you. Let me know why. I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. But it's not a movie that I would see, having heard all the bad press, which is rare for me because a lot of times I won't go just on people's reviews. I'll go see it myself to see what I think. But I was never really invested in the movie that much to begin with because I knew it was already going to be such a different version of the Dark Tower. So if you're not familiar with the Dark Tower, it is one of Stephen King's flagship book series. If you're not aware, Stephen King writes his stories in a way that they are all kind of interconnected, or at least many of them are. A lot of the stories take place in a fictional town called Castle Rock. Other stories take place in various different time periods and various different worlds, although most of them very closely tied to an Americanized setting. But the Dark Tower is his flagship because of the fact that it is the jumping off point that all of his other timelines are connected to. The Dark Tower location is kind of a portal, if you will, to other worlds, other experiences, other timelines. And so Stephen King's multiverse is kind of all connected through the Dark Tower. If you've been looking to read Stephen King, the Dark Tower is a really great starting place. It follows Roland Deschain, who is a gunslinger, and he's kind of that Old West cowboy type with a 6-shooter at his side, and it's a kind of very poetic and sad take on the gunslinger legacy. He's more or less the last of his kind, and he's following the man in black and trying to reach a point where he can apprehend the man in black and confront him for the things he's done. And he ends up encountering a young boy who kind of helps him navigate the paths that will lead him to the man in black. And it's not only set in the timeline that the first book starts out in, it does branch off into other timelines via these portals. It's just a really cool, very unique story, and it just begs for a really good adaptation. And I think all along TV has been the better format for that. My understanding is it is Amazon Prime that has picked it up, and I'm really excited to see what they do with it, because I think it would be handled much better in a week-to-week format than what it was given in the movies. There's just so much you can't do in a movie because you're trying to cram it into 2 or perhaps 2.5 hours. You just can't do that much with it. So I'm very excited for the TV series. It seems like we're going to get a look at Roland's backstory in the first season, which, from what I understand, is kind of where one of the later books, because I have not read the whole series, but I understand that's where one of the later books in the series actually picks up and starts to tell Roland's backstory. It's going to do the series a little bit different, more of a chronological order than the books do for it. So very excited to see what they do with it. And I hope you'll keep up on it as well. Maybe look into it, read the books for yourselves. As I said, I have not read the entire series, but what I've read, I've loved, and I can't wait to read more. I hope to finish it before the first season comes out. The final adaptation I want to talk about today is Good Omens. And yes, I know it's already been released. It was released like a month ago or so. But it is just so good. I have to recommend it to you here. It's based on the book by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Terry Pratchett died a couple of years ago now, and it was always his dream to see it adapted for either television or a movie or something like that. But not everybody can do it, and Neil Gaiman was attached on the production team to it, and I thought they did a fantastic job. The book is hilarious if you like religious satire, or irreligious satire, I should say. Things like dogma and different things like that. It's a really, really good, fun, and entertaining story. So make sure you check out Good Omens. It's on Amazon Prime. I believe it's going to be coming out on video here soon as well for you to purchase. But I always have Prime, so I'm probably just going to keep watching it on Prime. I've already watched it, but I'm going to watch it again. And if you're familiar with Good Omens, if you have read it and you have not seen the TV series, oh man, you are missing out. For those of you who want kind of a summary of what it's about, there's an angel and a demon that are supposed to be working for the great plan to bring about the end of the world, but they're just not so keen on the idea because they've really grown to love this world, and they've actually become pretty good friends. And so the demon, his name is Crowley. He's played by David Tennant, whom you may know from Doctor Who or from Broadchurch, or from Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. There's he's had many, many great roles, and he's really good. He was perfect for the role of Crowley. And then there's Michael Sheen, who plays Aziraphale, the angel. And they're often found cavorting about together, having tea together, and just having a grand old time, enjoying what time they have left before the end of the world. And then they decide, you know what, I just don't know if I want this to end. And at some point, the Antichrist gets misplaced. It's just hilarious. So read the book, watch the TV series. If you don't mind religious satire and can laugh a little at stuff like that, oh my goodness, it is so good. So that is my video today for fantasy adaptations. More to come next week. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you get notifications when I post a new video. Make sure to share this video with your friends if you enjoyed it. Please click a like on the video if you enjoyed it, because I would really like to know you liked it, number one, and also too, it helps my my views grow on YouTube, so I would really appreciate that. And last but not least, don't forget to read more books. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.